Hi, welcome back to my channel, Open the Door. Today is episode 37, opening the door to responding and reacting. So here's a little example for you. Which scenario do you most identify with? So a work colleague makes unfair comments or criticizes your work, and you react with anger and become defensive, and the conflict escalates, and there ends up being damage to the relationship, and people are making regrettable statements. Or a work colleague makes unfair comments or criticizes your work, and you respond by pausing, gathering your thoughts, acknowledging the other's perspective, and asking clarifying questions, and providing a calm and reasonable response to what they have said. So this is an example of responding versus reacting. And there are two different approaches to handling situations and conflicts, and they each have significant outcomes which create emotional impacts for ourselves and for others. And clearly they differ primarily in terms of the immediacy and the amount of control and thoughtfulness that we use as we respond or react to incoming stimuli from others. So it's important to develop the ability to respond, to maintain better communication with others, which builds stronger relationships and creates effective problem solving. But why is it so easy for us to just react? Why do we react so quickly and not take the time to respond? Well, it's due to some of these things. Number one, biological factors. We have this flight or fight response that's wired within our brains that we should act quickly to threats or bodily harm. So biological factors cause us to react instead of respond. Also psychological factors, emotional triggers from past experiences that create high levels of stress and anxiety. And also we have habitual factors that influence our immediate reaction to things instead of taking time to respond. And these habitual factors are learned behaviors, and we've become conditioned to reacting a certain way. For example, reacting with anger when we sense a lack of control in a situation. And our lack of self-awareness also contributes to our reactions instead of responding, and not being aware of our emotional states and what triggers us into these emotional states. So environmental factors also contribute to this reacting instead of responding, and it can be due to social pressure in fast-paced environments like work and social, where social media is present. So that has to do with, that can be a number of things, but I'm not going to get into that right now. So moving from the difference between the two, but wanting to know when is it okay to react. And sometimes we are going to react and it's not inappropriate to react, and oftentimes it has to do with situations to prevent harm, to seize an opportunity, or to meet demands of the moment. So here's some examples of those things. In emergency situations, if we witness an accident and someone is in danger, it's okay to react. It's okay to react as a reflective response to something like a falling object, and or swerving to avoid an accident. I've caught things that are falling at the last second, so I think I have pretty good reflex response. Unexpected opportunities in business, or like in financial trading, or fast-paced environments where we have to think quickly on our feet. And also we've all seen it in sports and physical activities where people are able to respond immediately to the opponent's moves. So the next little section I want to talk about is how to be less reactive in times when it's not appropriate. So a big point on this channel is mindfulness, and practicing mindfulness is probably the first step through meditation and just becoming more aware of our emotions. We can use mindful deep breathing to sort of calm our nervous system. and take a moment to pause. To be less reactive, we can also increase our self-awareness, and that's through the mindfulness, but also, journaling to reflect on our emotional states and what's triggering us into these variety of emotional states. Developing emotional regulation, where we are able to sort of train ourselves to pause and delay a reaction, and able to, as we teach children, count to 10, take deep breaths, or even excuse ourselves from a situation or environment for a few minutes to gain control over our emotional state and our thought process as well. We can be less reactive through improving our communication skills and using assertive communication without aggression or being passive, and using the I and because statements when we're expressing our communication. Practicing empathy is another way to become less reactive by taking the perspective and trying to be compassionate for the others and see their point of view. Stress management is another tool we can use to be less reactive by learning how to reduce our stress, improve our mood through regular exercise, healthy lifestyle, a balanced diet, getting enough sleep, and participating in enjoyable activities. So seeking support through support groups or individualized therapy counseling helps us develop strategies on how to become less reactive and more responsive. So should we react or respond? Well, the way that we do that and determine that is understand the context of the situation and then adapt our approach. And once we have assessed the situation, we're going to practice self-awareness and mindfulness and thoughtfully consider our next response. So use active listening, and that will give you time to be quiet, fully be attentive to the conversation that you're having. And listening actively means paying attention to what they're saying, not trying to already compose your response to them. So examples of when to know when to respond or when to react. The workplace example that I gave in the beginning, where a colleague has criticized your work, and you can either respond or react to that. I gave that example in the beginning. Other examples would be in parenting. For example, if a child spills their juice, are you reacting with anger and criticizing them for being clumsy? Or are you responding thoughtfully and pointing out that accidents happen in life, and maybe make a little task of cleaning it up together? Here's another example in customer service, and this has all happened to us, where you say you place a carry-out order and you go to pick it up, and they got the order wrong, and you don't realize it until you get home. So are you going to react and call them and be angry and tell them what a horrible job they're doing, or respond by calling them and thoughtfully pointing out that you've received someone else's order, and how can they rectify that situation? Maybe they could send a delivery person to your place of residence and save you a trip of going back to the restaurant to exchange it for the correct meal. So just examples really of responding and reacting. But it's like a lot of these things that take self-control, it does take practice, and the way that we can get to a point of being able to become more thoughtful before reacting to something can definitely tie into these other aspects that I've been pointing out in just about every episode: the mindfulness, being aware of the present moment, journaling, helping us to become more aware of our emotional states and what our responses are in a variety of environments and situations. And the meditation is also another way to tap into your emotional states and become not just more patient with others and your responses, but with yourself as well. And over time, you'll sort of develop a muscle of response, and you'll always carry with you in your intuition and your flight or flight ingrained responses, and you'll always have that as well when when situations that are where you might be in danger or someone else is, and it's okay to react. So this is our episode for today, and I'm going to end it here. I thought about doing a meditation, but I'm choosing not to today. So I thank you for joining me. Thank you for the support, and thanks to the new subs. They're slowly trickling in, but the numbers are getting a little higher. I have more subs than I did when I started, so that's a good thing. Anyway, thanks again for joining me, and as always, I wish you peace, love, and light. Take good care of yourselves. I'll see you again soon. Have a great day.